Chaw, what's up, y'all? Dan here, and this is For Your Mental Health, a podcast where we talk about different issues that affect myself, affect you, and affect the world at large. So, thank you so much for checking out my channel and the podcast. This is episode number 22. We're talking about stress and how stress affects us in those really, tough moments where it kind of layers up on each other. We've talked a lot about anxiety, we've talked a lot about depression, but we really haven't talked a lot about stress in general and how that really impacts your mental health. So, I've had some instances recently I wanted to talk about that relate to me, which I think could be useful for the people out there watching and listening around the world. So here's my story about stress from my most recent experience. I actually haven't had a lot of instances where stress has gotten to me that much. I've always felt like I've been able to deal with stress in a very healthy way. Whether it's going to the gym or listening to music or talking with friends or watching a movie or just kind of chilling out at home. That's how I normally deal with stress. And, normally that works out just fine. But sometimes the stress becomes so much where it just becomes a very large burden to take on. Recently, I was training for a new position at work. They were showing me how to run the desk. And at the same time, I was also looking for another roommate to move into my apartment. So I was losing a roommate, having to learn a new position at work, all the while going to wrestling school and trying to learn this new craft, which I had real no experience in. So it was these three layers of stress that just piled on top of each other. And so I really felt the weight of that when I was working at the desk. And I just, I couldn't really focus on things. It was all just kind of happening all at once. And, I was having these chest pains, and it was, later, I figured out it was a bit of an anxiety attack. Like, it was just a lot of stressful moments happening at the same time, my mind kind of racing, and I wasn't really able to handle it effectively, It was just too much stress for me to take on, it was unhealthy. Hence going to the doctor, hence trying to figure out what the chest pains were about and just trying to see if I was okay. That was a very stressful time for me. And, I think we all go through things like this in some ways where, you're going out in the world and you're trying to figure out yourself and you're trying to figure out what you want to do for a job and trying to figure out your living situation. And, maybe you're learning something new at work or on the side, as a new hobby. I mean, there's just things that are stressors that we all face that can lead to a downturn in mental health because, it can be a lot to handle sometimes. So for me, like I said, normally I don't really have a lot of issues with stress. I've dealt with stress in very healthy ways. But that kind of layering of stress, those layering of things that were happening in my life at the same time, just like a stress sandwich, and I was just being pressed into it. It was really awful. It was really bad, and I was glad that I had people to talk to, friends at work, really friendly people that I've come to trust, to talk to at the workplace, which hopefully you've got people like that in your life. And therapy, of course. Therapy is always a great way to talk to a licensed professional, someone who's dealt with people that have had similar situations. So that's really helpful as well. The thing that was most helpful was standing up for myself because, I told them, like, hey, I don't want to really do this desk thing really for a long period of time. Like, maybe I'll cover someone's break. That's totally fine for maybe 10 minutes to an hour. That's really not a big deal. But having to do it the entire day and, dealing with a lot of these customers and their complaints and having a big checklist to kind of make sure is getting done and dealing with returns, and it was just a lot. It was a lot for me personally to take on. And, I stood my ground. I told them, I didn't want to work a full 8-hour shift at the desk. It really wasn't something I thought was healthy for me. So, I think, if you're in a situation where you can change it, if you're in a situation where you can take that stressor and pretty much do away with it in some way, like you don't have to have it in your life, that's a great first step in getting to a better place for your mental health and finding some type of peace where there may not have been during that time. So I felt really good about the fact that I didn't let some type of career goal or some type of money goal or aspiration of that sort get in the way of me feeling like, I was okay, that I was able to be, emotionally stable and able to enjoy what I was doing, because, I got into this job really not to have all these stressors involved. And once again, granted, there were other things happening, trying to find a new roommate, trying to learn the art of professional wrestling. Obviously, those things were happening too, but, it's just, in general, if you can take what you're given and flip it back and be like, you know what, maybe I don't want to do this. I tried it, I gave it a shot, maybe it's not for me. And if you can do that and not let someone, walk all over you and tell you have to do something, if you're able to be in that position where you can make a change, then definitely do it, because it's almost certainly going to be for your benefit going forward, for sure. So yeah, I think stressors in general can come from anywhere, any source, any type of place that you find yourself in, whether it's at home, in the workplace, at school, doing hobbies, with a romantic partner, with your friends. I mean, there's definitely all these sorts of scenarios where you can get super stressed out. And when they all kind of happen at once and pile up like that, it can feel like it's overwhelming and insurmountable. But if you can use your techniques of trying to talk it out with someone, or going to a licensed therapist and having that sort of chat, or just flipping it to, you know what, I'm not going to do this. Like, this was something that was going to, give me a lot of stress going forward, and I didn't want to have that in my life. You can push that to the side. If you can do that, you're going to be in a lot better spot. So, that's what I did. And once again, exercise, listening to music, chilling out at home, watching just random funny YouTube videos, that's super helpful as well. Just getting to that chill place in your mind where, hey, you know what? Like, the stress is kind of there, but you don't have to feel overwhelmed by it, because you've done something about it. You've taken the proactive approach to changing your station in this situation. And I think if you're able to, pick yourself up like that and start making those observations and start making those changes, you won't feel as stressed, because you'll feel like you're actually doing something for yourself rather than having things happen to you. So that's episode number 22 of the For Your Mental Health podcast. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it's given you something that you can use in your own life if you're feeling really stressed, which, like I said, I normally am not, but this time it's a little different. It's coming in, and, it doesn't always come in lightly, sometimes it comes in like a waterfall, and you've got to, find your umbrella, I suppose, in that storm. But yes, thank you so much for watching this lovely episode that I've created right here for you all, and for myself included. And as always, follow your instincts, and peace out for now, y'all. LYF, love yourself first. Love you guys so much. Take care. Peace out for now. My. Yeah.